Stephan Hawkes here at my very own Hawkes studio with Guitar Tabs Daily. Today we're going to be looking at the Blackstar St. James. It's a 50-watt amp with 2 channels and a boost that's rocking some EL34 power tubes. I'm going to be playing it through my 2004 Fender V-neck Deluxe Strat into a 1977 Blackback 30 cab, SM57 and a Royer 121, mic in the cab up. And we got this Brownie here for voltage control. So yeah, so basically this is a 2-channel amp. The controls on it are real intuitive. It's got an overdrive channel and a boost. So immediately I was able to get a really nice clean sound out of it just by setting it up on, pretty much everything right around noon. It's not a hard amp to set up. However, it does have a few interesting things that makes it. At first, it kind of threw me a little bit, but then as I got to know the controls, I realized that it really just makes the amp super versatile. So yeah, you basically have 2 channels with adjustable volume and gain, a master for everything, bass, middle, and treble, a nice subtle reverb that can obviously, it sounds nice subtle, but you can pretty much drown it if you want. And then there's a gain boost, which kind of gives you a second option, and all of those are available on a foot switch. Yeah, so basically just to hear, I've just dialed up some clean with a little bit of reverb on it. Settings are between 1 o'clock and noon on all the EQ. And it's got a nice full sound, works great with any position of single coil on this guitar. So yeah, let's check that out. Yeah, so obviously the reverb there is kind of subtle. It's nice. It sounds nice without the reverb, but a little bit of reverb on it isn't bad. Yeah, so that's the kind of my baseline clean. As you can see, if I go to the neck pickup, it still sounds great. It works on every position. It has a real nice sustain to it. It wasn't overwhelmingly different. The pickups all sound different, but the setting that I dialed in worked on all of them. So that's always good to know. The big thing about this amp that I find to be a little different than some amps, but it threw me for a second, but I really like it, is that the treble control here actually has a huge impact on the sound of the amp and basically will make it so that you can dial it in around any guitar. So if you had a super bassy guitar, the treble knob has kind of a sweet spot right between noon and 1 o'clock where it really thins out and focuses the sound, kind of like the tone knob on an AC30 or something like that. But if you take it lower than noon, it gets very full and dark, and so it's pretty interesting. Watch this as I'll just play something open and you can hear as I mess with it. So, you've got serious control over how bright you make it. If I go from here, this is going to be pretty nice. You go to here, it's a whole different thing. It gets rid of a lot of the body, but that might be what you're looking for. Also, you might have a fatter sounding guitar than this. This is a pretty normal guitar, but say I go to the neck pickup on this. I can make the neck pickup have the same EQ curve as the bridge pickup. Need to go even further back. Or you just brighten it, switch to the neck. We go even a little further. So in that regard, I really like that because sometimes amps just don't have a way to control. They always have EQs on them, but they don't always have a way to control the general, like the body or tone sweep. They just boost treble or boost bass or boost mids. And I found that the bass and the mid-range control work pretty much how you'd expect them to. You can just get more bass. So it's a really nice bass sound. It makes it sound fat to thinning it out, but it doesn't change the overall sweep of the character. Same thing with the mid. You can get the mid sound great all the way up. you know, get scooped with it down. All the way up's got a nice bark. I don't find any of the settings, you know, other than maybe some of the extreme ones, you know, they work really well. They do give you what you want, but the treble control is unique in the sense that it will change the entire dynamic of the amp. So I personally like that. It means that no matter what guitar I grab, if I grab a Les Paul or something with a humbucker, I'm going to probably need a little more treble to thin out the body, to focus it. And if I use something that's on the thinner, brighter side that has a cool, you know, like the second position, you know, on a Strat, all I got to do is back off this treble. And it doesn't sound as thin as you would think. I mean, again, if I go back to the setting I was on and I play that same thing, it's cool, but, you know, in this case, it's even thinner. So that's even more like the chicken picking second position Strat thing. But if I put it down here, you get that kind of quack of the second pickup, but it actually sounds full body like the middle pickup or the neck pickup would. So that's cool. So I really like that. It's real versatile and allows you to, especially in a recording environment where you might be switching between different guitars or just searching for one tone, it kind of makes it so the amp will do whatever you need it to do. And you could even adjust it if you were playing a gig or something and you had different guitars for different sets. You could just have kind of in your mind know where roughly each guitar has kind of the right body, and that would allow you to play a Strat and a Les Paul at a show with a simple, you know, just move the thing to put some tape on it, or just remember 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock for that, and be a really usable live tool. So while we're here on the clean, let's check out doing a little more extreme reverb setting, just so we can get a feel for the reverb. It's got kind of a haunting, I mean, I always like reverb like this. It almost sounds like it's got a little modulation to it, which I'm a sucker for modulated reverbs and delays. So I always like, that's probably why I immediately liked what I heard, because I always like that when they just get a little bit of that in there. It makes it a little less linear. So yeah, so that's, I mean, I can turn it all the way up so you can hear how reverby it really gets. I mean, that's a cool vibe. So, I mean, that's definitely a very usable reverb. That's all the way up, so that's as wet as it's going to get. But even just a little bit of it, just as in general to have on the clean, it's so short. It's pretty short and kind of contained, so it doesn't go forever or get messy. So I kind of like the decay on that. I think they kind of put that in a nice spot. So yeah, so then moving on to the gain channel. So the gain channel has its own independent volume control. It does share the EQ with channel 1. Luckily, they're very well matched, so it's not a problem. And also, you can adjust the volume independent of the master. You can adjust the volume of them. So I found it very easy to match the tone of the clean to the tone of the distorted or the higher gain. Yeah, it's not a crazy high gain amp. However, I'm sure, you know, obviously, if it's got a great clean, you know, it's going to take a boost really well. And the overdrive that it does do is really good. And then you've also got this gain boost switch, which does kind of kick things up another notch. So here again, just for reference, is the clean. So yeah, I might have that a little too bright. It's very easy to dial in, though. And if I flip to the gain channel without the boost, turn the reverb down for that. But yeah, it sounds really nice. So it basically just sounds like a higher gain version of the clean channel. It definitely doesn't make the guitar brighter, which I like. I mean, you don't want to have like your distortion come in and have it be edgier than the clean. I'd rather have the clean be a little more detailed and make sure that the distortion doesn't like hit people's ear funny. So I do find that it's if anything, it skews towards being a hair smoother, but it still maintains the same character of the clean. Go back to the clean. And I could probably boost the volume on the gain channel a little to be... So yeah, so they're well matched. And and that's with the gain all the way up. So this isn't like a high gain amp. I mean, I think you can tell from looking at it. You know, it's a 50-watt amp. It's very lightweight. It's actually crazy. They made it out of like, you know, special wood in order to make it so it wasn't heavy. So if you're one of those guys that doesn't want to carry a heavy amp to a gig, or you're playing, you know, a smaller little setup or whatever, like this thing is lighter than you would think. It still feels solid, but it is considerably light, which I did really enjoy. You know, I've never really played a whole lot of Blackstar amps, so I didn't necessarily know what to expect from this. But it's not a high gain. It's not a metal amp. I mean, could you put a pedal in front of that beautiful clean and probably get good metal sounds? Yeah, you can put great pedals into any clean and probably get something that would work. But the overdrive channel in the amp is geared more towards around mid gain and then just rockin' gain. Like, it's got a healthy amount of gain, but it's not trying to do anything for chugging or crazy over the top fuzz or anything. That's just not the point of it. So yeah, so I'll play again. This is the overdrive channel a little bit, and then I'll hit this gain boost, and you can hear what the gain boost does. And it's also a little bit interesting, but it's really cool when you start to realize, you know, the way the amp kind of builds from each channel. So here's just again the gain channel 2 without the boost. You know, it's just spanky and punches, but it's not harsh. It sounds really good. If you put in the boost, so this is maximum gain with the boost. You can tell it gets a little bit warmer. So when you do that, the gain boost has kind of a warmth to it, which I suspect is kind of for, if you're going to use that, it's probably when you're going to be going to your like solo tones. So you're going to get like a bluesier kind of solo tone out of it when you go to that. Like, high notes aren't going to hurt. Anything you play up high. Like, it's not hard on the ears, and it fills out the mids. And then you go back to this, and it's, you know, that would, I mean, again, not that it sounds bad, but that would run more of a potential of, because I dialed it in around kind of more rhythm chords and stuff, than if you're going to play a bunch of high stuff. So I actually think that's kind of probably the point of it. It's not just a more, you're not just adding more gain per se. It seems like it's activating something in the tone stack of the amp in order to make it fatter and fuller. So for me, I like the regular gain channel for doing rhythms, and, you know, like, it's just because it sounds more like the clean, and that's a natural progression. But having more low mids and more body once you switch to the gain boost means you can get wild and play some high stuff without running the risk of tearing anyone's head off. It's almost got like a slight tone roll off, but one that people like do so that they can just like get that kind of sweet, thick sound. So yeah, and it's not like, I mean, again, if you wanted to play this channel, it would be as easy as just dialing up the treble a little bit. So now it's not even dark. I mean, again, the amp is, that treble knob means you can dial in any of this to be what you want to be. Let me go back to the no gain boost. Yeah, so that's got more bite. You go back to the clean. And that's basically the way the thing builds. So, you know, like I said, I generally prefer right around noon, 1 o'clock on the treble, but it's just, that's this guitar. Any guitar is going to have a different sweet spot. And I find that extremely easy to find and dial in. You can just kind of turn it, and you just go right before you lose the oomph, wherever that is on the guitar you're using. So yeah, overall, I mean, I think this thing sounds great. It's super versatile. It gets way louder than I'm playing it, and it's still really loud. So 50-watt head. Oh yeah, actually, you know, I forgot. That's the cool thing about it. So it has this 2-watt mode. So if you do want to play, it will never get loud. It's more for like bedroom or just self-rehearsal. This I actually did really like, because you can basically just, like, no matter what you do, it never gets loud, but you get to hear all of the, you know, the... So that's the 2-watt mode. Here's back to full 50-watt mode. So it's cool because you can basically play at bedroom levels, but leave your kind of live settings, and it's not going to be a thing. Also, there's the sag mode, which basically just takes the full out 50 watt and it just drops the voltage in a way that makes it a little spongier. So again, here's the full out 50 watt mode. Put to sag, it's not as drastic as the 2 watt, but it rounds off the edges and makes it a little quieter. And then again, I can crank the master to get it back. So it allows you to get a rounder, slower, kind of fatter texture to it. And honestly, yeah, I would just obviously run the amp, choose if you like the sag or the 50 watt. It gets plenty loud. I mean, I'm still just at like half, and I'm on the sag mode. So it's like, this thing gets loud as you're gonna need. But the sag does have a different kind of texture to it. And honestly, I kind of like it. It's kind of thick. But if you were to play that on 50 watt, it'd tear your head off. So that's the highest headroom, but no matter what, you go to 2 watt, it like literally just stops it from ever being painfully loud. So it doesn't matter what setting I put this on, I make it sound good for rocking, put it to 2 watt. So yeah, if you're like at band practice and you want to mess around while your buddies are doing stuff, or you're not trying to blow anybody's head off, you just put this thing to 2 watt, work on your riff, noodle around. Nobody's gonna be like, hey man, we're trying to have a conversation here or something. It's like, that's actually kind of cool to just have like an immediate kind of home bedroom kind of quiet switch. So I don't have any amps that do that. So I usually just have to, if I'm going to play in the control room or, at my house, I just have the amps just down really quiet. Then I'm like searching around for like a finicky, tiny, barely on volume, not to bug anybody. Whereas this one, you just flip down to the 2 watt switch and then you don't even have to mess with anything else. So yeah, that's the Blackstar St. James. I think this amp's pretty killer. It sounds great, has all the features you want. And again, that treble control makes it super versatile for any guitar you got. So I think it's a real winner. See, and that's what. Yeah, so here we've got a custom shop Les Paul with a humbucker in it. This is actually a pretty clear, even, bright guitar. It's not bright, but it's not muddy. But if you compare it to the settings that I was doing on the Strat with the treble around noon or 1 o'clock, it's going to sound a little dull because they're different guitars. It sounds great, but again, for every guitar, you just find wherever that sweet spot is. Oof, that's nice. Let's see. A little more. I think I'm on the sag. There we go. Woo! I was on the low wattage. So yeah, here we go. So yeah, and then, this thing, it sounds great with humbuckers. And if I wanted to thin it out, I just turn the treble up and I can get almost more like single coily type tones. So yeah, if you thin it out all the way and go to a neck pickup, you just get interesting blends that you can't get. Certain tone controls just don't thin out an amp, like they don't get rid of the body of an amp in that way, so it would be harder to do something like this. And then obviously if you did that on the bridge pickup, it's not going to be pretty. So it's cool. I mean, again, just the versatility of this treble knob being more like a tone sweep really comes in handy. And then again, it allows you to fatten up and focus a single coil guitar, or to thin out and focus a humbucker guitar, kind of no matter the tonalities. Even if you got some really dark humbuckers, there's no guitar that is too dark for whatever this knob does. That sounds great. And then we'll do the gain boost. If you brighten up that channel a little bit. Yeah, so that's great. The other thing about this amp that's really cool, especially if you're using it at home, you know, it's got a cab sim. It's got a balance out for recording, but then it also has 3 different cab sim options. So, you know, you can basically, it's, I mean, this thing's so light. I mean, literally like taking it from I mean, you could just, I mean, you could lift it up with one finger. It's hilarious. I mean, I don't know how they made a guitar amp that is a real guitar amp that isn't just like a toy that's this light. It's super light. And so, yeah, you just take it home. You can be practicing, you know, you can be practicing down at the 2-watt setting, you know, decide you want to record a riff. You got 3 cab sim options on the back. Click between 1, 2, and 3, plug them into your interface. Whichever one sounds better, you just use and get to writing. And so that's real convenient. You don't have to like switch out your cables and go to some, you know, plug into a DI and go to some other thing and then deal with latency and all that. You just take this, just have an XLR in the back and then switch between the cab sims. And then, you know, just have a system where you do that when you're going from writing to jamming and practice. So take it from practice to your house to jam at low levels. And then if you want to record something, you just got a cable, plug it in, and there's all, you know, one of the amp sims is going to work for whatever you're trying to do for writing or jamming and having a good time. So yeah, I mean, between the tones that it covers with a humbucker or a single coil, lightweight, clean sounds great. I didn't run any pedals into it today, but anytime you hear a clean that sounds that good, it clearly is going to work with boosts and effects. I mean, if I threw a delay on this thing, you'd be swimming in it. So humbucker or single coil, that's what's cool. That the treble knob on this thing really allows you to make it so that humbuckers aren't muddy, single coils aren't thin, and whatever guitar you have, this thing can shape it and give you 3 really usable channels. So I think it's a real winner.